like I give you enough in-car video. So here's a pull in third gear from probably like 20, 30 miles an hour. Ooh, brakes pull a little bit. And now we're gonna pull over and check the belt because we're having some belt alignment issues. I'll show you in a second. So that's very interesting. So I pulled over right after that pull. This is temporary, by the way. I'm just trying to train this damn hose to stay in that angle. But normally what'll happen is when I get done with a pull, it'll be jumped over 2 teeth. But normally when that happens, I do like a first, second, sometimes third. Yeah, we're still in the braking period. And it will have jumped then. So that was a single third gear pull, maybe to like 6,000 RPM. So interesting. I should probably put a GoPro in here and just watch what it looks like happens. But at least it's still on there. So it is a work day. I am fresh off work and we're gonna build a trailer. So I'm gonna start the time lapse. I took my son to school today. Car ran fine. Made a ton of changes to the tune. I've been, so if you've never heard of it, Joe Simpson on YouTube, here's a link. I paid for his course on how to tune. I understand how to tune, I understand the parts, I understand the pieces, but I need to fill in some gaps to do it safely, to trust myself. So I purchased his Tune the Trilogy, which is a link right here. And I have been watching the videos. So I made some adjustments to my tune in the Nova. Here's a clip. Hold that for me. Whatever makes sense, you know what I mean? It ran really good in one gear, switched to another gear, and kind of fell on its face. Now, I was watching the air fuel gauge, and it looked okay. What I think happened, I think we're pushing a little bit of combustion gas into the cooling system, because when I parked it, and this has never, ever happened before, when I parked it, the overflow tank was full, and I've never seen that. So I hope that that's not the problem, but I never have changed that driver's side head gasket, even though I've changed the passenger side 3 times. 3 times now. One of them was reused. Well, twice it was reused, and then the last time was brand new. So we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe I'll do a leak down or something if it gets worse. I don't know. And we also have a belt issue. I need to check the alignment on the belt, right? So I made the adjuster for the diesel tensioner that's on the passenger side. Olson Custom Works makes a really great product. I couldn't afford it, so I made my own. Thankfully, I'm able to do so. I think I probably got it off a little bit in the angle because I made all the spacers myself. So we'll see. It happened a few times, and then I beat the crap out of the car today, and it didn't happen again. So I'm a little confused. But right now, we're gonna build a trailer. So the drag and drive trailer needs to be built. I have it in boxes. I'm tired of like having it just move around my property. So we're gonna build that, and then if I have time, I'm gonna at least start on the process for the trailer hitch. So that's what we're doing. So join me. Beautiful day. Can put you on GoPro, get you some music playing. Enjoy. All right, y'all, so as you saw on the GoPro, we got the trailer made. So the trailer is good to go. Some slight miscalculations on the truck box that I bought. So the truck box I bought is 48 inches wide. This is only 40. Okay, so critical thinking here. I can take these, what the hell are they called? Fender covers, wheel wheel arches, whatever they are. There's 4 bolts, holds them all on, and I would gain some more space. I don't know. I need to do some more measurements. Let me do that right now. All right, so I'll have to re-look at my drawings. I don't know if I like measured this and this makes sense to me or not, but we certainly have not enough frame for the size box we're trying to put on it. I think what I was doing was I created a false floor so I could get a wider object on here, because I think what was happening was I was putting it just inside the wheels, so it wasn't any wider. So when I build up the false floor and I put the plastic bins on this piece here, obviously once it has a floor on it, this will go up on top, and then that will give me this sufficient space. I don't want to put this on the front, even though it looks like I could, because we're going to clear the tires if I move it forward just a little bit, and it's basically all supported. I don't want to put it there because it's a lot of tongue weight, and as much as I trust what I got here, I'm not trying to max it out. I'd really like to keep it in the center of the axle, just to keep it on this axle, not that axle, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, we got the trailer built, and here's the supplies for the receiver. So basically, and I'll put the picture in here just so it all makes a little more sense. We have the factory eyelets for the leaf springs on both sides. Reinforced hole, I mean, you know, it's 1.5 inches in the frame. So what's gonna happen is this piece here, I'm gonna drill some in it. We're gonna slide that guy in, and then we're gonna have like a sandwich piece that goes up, and that piece, insert the picture here to make more sense, we'll be utilizing this 1/4 inch bar to support it up against the frame, right? So as the load pushes down here, it actually uses a lever to push up on the bottom of the frame, right there. So hopefully all of that will make sense, and hopefully all of that will go in as intended. So let's just get to it. In an effort to make this kind of a how-to for Nova owners who want to do a drag and drive event. So what I did was I measured from the outside of the lip here on both sides. We're looking at 2.6 inches, which if you measure out 2.6 inches from the trunk floor to the actual pocket itself, you can't fit it in there. Unless you made it in 2 pieces, I'm not interested in doing that. I just want to make it in 1. So I measured the actual frame rail, 1.8 inches wide. So that will fit in the space provided here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just, because I have quite a bit of this, right? So I mean, I could make a lot of them. So I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to make it as small as I think it needs to be. This would be nice to have support on, but I don't think it needs to be the actual width. But we'll see. So we'll cut it and we'll go from there. Let's do the right thing the wrong way. So I know you probably shouldn't use a fiber cutoff wheel to cut aluminum, because it'll gall up and it can explode because it's, it gets heavy on one side. We're going to see. We're going to see what happens. I have a bandsaw, but this is faster. All right, well, we got her cut off. There's definitely some buildup on here, but it's really not that bad. So we got her cut. It's a little crooked, These things tend to cut at an angle when you got to push kind of hard, but it's okay. It's okay for what it's being used for. So let's go put it in, and let's go see if it'll fit. And, oh, look at that. That's a beautiful fit. Ooh, it's even pressed. Cool. Yep, I think that'll work perfectly. Looks like the ID's a little bit smaller than measured on the outside. So we'll get them drilled, get them made, and put one on both sides. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to move those. All right, so as you just saw on the time lapse there, I am not a machinist. So what do we have here? We have a ton of aluminum chips. And the reason for that is, where did I put it? Here we are. Yes, so again, I am not a machinist, but we have a hole. You know, it's the right size piece that we needed. Everything looked good, right? Well, unfortunately, when we come over here, we're just like a mile off. So this cheap-ass drill press that I have, when you drill, it kicks forward. So I didn't think about it. I should have drilled one side, flipped it over, drilled the other side, and then just met in the middle each time. So that's what I did on this one. And this one isn't exactly centered either. So you guys out there that do like precision work, you're not gonna be impressed. That's pretty off, but it'll work for what we're using it for. So anyway, I don't have a 9/16 drill bit, so I gotta buy one of those. That's 1/2 inch. So I'll have to cut another one of these, throw this away, drill another one of those, get a 9/16 drill bit, and then we can proceed forward. A little different day. So last time we were out here, we made some mistakes on the round stock aluminum. I ordered a drill bit, 9/16. It arrived today. Come to find out, didn't need it. So what I did was I went to the hardware store and I found some grade 8 1/2 inch bolts, 3.5 length. These are fine thread, not that it really matters. These are not full thread, they are shouldered, which is important because it gives you additional strength over the size of the bolt, or the length of the bolt, I should say. But anyways, I went with 1/2 inch over 9/16 because I looked up the yield strength of a 1/2 inch bolt and it's like 19,200 or 500 pounds. So the fact that one bolt can hold 19,000, 2 bolts, you're at like 40,000. I think 1/2 inch is gonna be fine. So we're gonna roll with that. So I got some more material, some 3/16 strap. So like I explained before and in the picture, it's gonna go up and around the 2x2, and then this is gonna get the 2x2 welded to it. So we're gonna machine the last aluminum insert. That shouldn't take too long since we already have everything out. And then we're gonna go ahead and just start mocking it up. Hopefully by the end of today, we get a hitch actually on the car. So we'll see. So in an effort to try to change things up a little bit, instead of just putting some music in here, I just figured I'll explain what I'm doing. So I'm drilling through the aluminum stock. We're just jumping up in sizes of the drill bits, cleaning everything up, fitting the receiver up into the car, trying to figure out what the angles are. Figured out it's like a 10-degree angle that I have to put on the 2-inch tube. Use a bandsaw, cut it off, grind it, make it flat, do the same on both sides. And then I had to set up my TIG welder because the last thing I welded was aluminum. Completely different settings, not super proficient in TIG, so it took me a little bit, but we got it. It looks pretty good. So once we got everything tacked together, it was time to switch gears a little bit. The local high school was putting on a fundraiser for the graduates. We decided to just kind of last minute attend, got the car all vacuumed up, tried to get it cleaned on the outside. As you can see, it's still raining in the Pacific Northwest. Springtime is a little different around here. So took the car out, got it washed. It's kind of nice I didn't have to dry it right away. So once it's cleaned, we'll head out to the car show. We're out here, a little car show at the local high school, supporting the kids. We got 15 people out right now. Hoping for a little more. Back, different day. So we got a little update. We got the supports done for the trailer hitch. So when I run a straight edge from this side back, it's not straight on one side. So I need to fix that and then weld that thing in permanently. Once that's welded in, then I can make the straps because it's all kind of gonna have to play together. But anyways, that's what we're gonna be doing. And then once, thank you GoPro. And then once that's done, we'll put it back in the car and we'll leave it on for a while. Well, actually, no, a couple other things we gotta do. So I gotta make closeouts for this end and I gotta make closeouts for this end because I just don't want dirt and junk getting in there because it won't have anywhere to go. It'll just pile up. And then once that's done, we'll throw it in. So there's your update. Let's walk you through it. So we got everything welded on here. You know, as per usual, I don't try and make it beautiful. I just try and make it work like this damn camera. All right, we got our welded on here. At least it's stuck together like some super glue. I do believe that that will hold 1,000 pounds or 2,000 pounds or whatever it is the trailer's gonna end up weighing. There's one side, there's the other. Obviously I got a little cleanup to do. I need to grind this side flat so I can put the closeout plate on this side, but you know, there's the weld. So yeah, so the next steps, we're gonna close this end out, we're gonna close that end out. Once all that's done, we're gonna put it back in the car and we're gonna fit it in there and then try and measure to where the bends should be for this bar. I rarely work on fit up, but sometimes when I do, it actually comes out pretty good. So this should be a pretty easy weld. I'll probably just autogenous weld it, which is no filler all the way around, because I'm guessing most likely it should have enough there for it. So we'll see. All right, been a few hours, maybe an hour. So I got the ends capped up. I ran into some issues. This is a good side. So the other side I did first. I ran into some porosity with the powder coat coming off on the inside because I couldn't really get a wire wheel down in there. This side looks fine. Here, let's try that. There we are, looks good. Probably just gonna paint that. No need to grind it, which is nice. And then we got this side, which, you know, I went back and ground it up in this top corner here and it looks a little bit better, but it was a learning curve. So now we're capping the ends, there and there. And once this is done, we'll get her up in the car. All right, and here is a quick update. So we've made the drop-down bracket mislabeled, but that's fine. This actually goes this way. So if I get the light over here, we got the pocket, we got the bracket. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but anyways, we'll get some holes in that thing. We'll weld it right to the bottom of the tube there. And it'll just be working off leverage. Should be pretty great. So we'll get back with you. All right, so here's a final look before I weld it all together, final, and then paint it. So what do we got here? We have the brackets made. So there it is. It's not exactly, or is it close? It's almost exactly where I marked it. So basically I measured from this edge to this edge on both sides to make sure it was square. I stood on it just to make sure it had some weight on it. And then I checked level for the bottom of the hitch to the ground. It's pointed a little bit up, but that kind of makes sense because it's a leverage system, right? So when you put some weight on it, it's gonna kind of come down. So I'm happy with it. Super happy with it, actually. The bumper is not square, so I can't really go off of that because the car had been hit on this side before and everything's kind of wonky back here. It needs a new back bumper, but it actually looks pretty square for the most part. So anyway, so there it is. Wasn't too bad. Let's go to the other side. A lot of cutting and measuring and welding and measuring and cutting, and you know how those projects are. But there she is. So I'm gonna go take it over to the bench, and then we're just gonna weld just a bead there and a bead there. These don't have to be super strong because, or the welds don't have to be super strong because it's really just locating it fore and aft. The actual load is on the bottom strap here, this way instead of this way. But we do want it to be strong in case the trailer starts to, you know, rock back and forth while driving. The clutch is getting a little grabby, so I can see that happening. But for the most part, I think we're good. So let's get to it. All right, final update for the night. So got the brackets on. I had marked where they were supposed to be this way on the tube, but not this way. So I had to go put everything back on, as you saw. Looks fine. You know, it's gonna do its job. A lot of undercut on this one, maybe not enough filler. Heat affected zone looks okay though, but this side, you know, that one looks okay. This side though, I got in some porosity here, which I didn't clean the metal. I mean, clearly I didn't clean it. I did a basic wire wheel and just sent it because it doesn't matter. It'll be fine. So it's too hot to paint, even though I kind of like throwing paint on hot metal. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it sit for tonight, and then I will, you know, hit it with some cleaner and then throw some black on it, put it in the car and hope it fits. Okay, see you tomorrow. All right, good morning. So against my better judgment yesterday, I sprayed black on this thing all over. So today it looks pretty good. Let me flip you around and you can take a look. And here it is. So I screwed up and I got the wrong length bolts for it. So I got 1/2 inch by 3.5. I needed 1/2 inch by 4 inch. So I can't put it in, but it's at least done. There she is. Bit of work, but I think it'll hold up just fine and should last for quite a while. Really, as long as I need it. So I forgot that I was gonna weigh it, just so you'd know exactly what this thing weighs, and it is not light, I can tell you that. It's, I'm gonna guess 40 pounds. Because this is quarter wall, right? So I mean, it's basically a 1-inch tube right there. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Oh shit. There it is, 50 pounds, almost on the nose. Wow. Okay, that should help with traction. All right, so the plan for today, we need to do a little troubleshooting. So I need to pull all the plugs out, just kind of see how everything's running. I got on it a few times and it seemed to pressurize the overflow, which, you know, typically means combustion pressure is getting into the cooling system. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull all the plugs out, see if it's obvious which one's causing the problem. And if it isn't, I've never checked the head bolts, the head studs on this side of the engine. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll pull the valve cover off because I can't get to the ones underneath the headers very easy, but I can at least check the ones on the head and see if they are loose. And if they are, then I'll take the header off and do that, but do the easy stuff first. So I'll check the torque on all of those, pull the plugs out, and then if I have to get deeper, I will, but I'm hoping not to have to. All right, so we got the driver's side plugs out. Let me take a look here and see what you think. The next one, oh, green. Well, that's interesting. Yep. No green, but maybe a little green. I'll pull the other side, see what those look like. You know, I've already pulled all these out, so I kind of know what's going on here. This one looks good. This one looks pretty good as well. That one does. And then my old buddy here, cylinder number 1. So this should give you some indication that it's still not firing correctly. My goodness. Okay, so let's end this video. So we got the hitch made, and that was a big accomplishment, which is great. That has to be done before we can tow a trailer. So, you know, one thing off the list. Unfortunately, per this little update on the spark plugs, we have a decision to make. So I actually, when I took this plug out, this front one, the one that I've had all these problems with, there was something on the electrode and I couldn't really see it. I took the video so that there was at least some proof of it, but I actually blew it out. And I'm almost positive that it was either fuel or coolant. Either way, not good. So the decision is this. Do I run it with one cylinder down? Because clearly we have one cylinder down. It could also be that the block is not flat on that side and it could not be sealing, or it could be not sealing, which is why I'm getting some combustion gas in the coolant, which only happens under boost. Maybe would answer why when I do a leak down, it doesn't have any issues. I don't know. So the choice is leave it one cylinder down or take this engine out. And then there's my last engine, which is like right over there somewhere underneath a bunch of boxes, ate a bearing. So it needs new cam bearings, needs new main bearings and rod bearings. And maybe send that block out, have it flattened, make sure that it's good to go, and then just put this little damn thing back together, rip this one out, put that one in. I don't know what to do. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I know that not a lot of people are on this thing yet. You know, my channel, that is. But I do appreciate y'all that do show up. I know that you probably have better things to do, and I'll let you get to that until we see what happens in the next video. At this point, I don't know. Is this all worth it? I don't know. This is so much time and energy and effort just to go fast. My wife's car's fast and I never do anything to it. I don't know. See you next time.